there'll be a little
recording in progress.
There'll be a little talk, and Saleh told me that you're having rains, and my sister also told me you're having a lot of monsoon rains. So monsoons are not a new thing for India. And during the Buddha's time, after he got enlightenment, he had lots of monks, monastics they're called today, because monk does not sound like a very nice word, but they had a lot of monks, monastics, and in this, what would happen, they would all, normally they'd go sit under trees, sit in an old house, sit all over the place to meditate. But when it rains, they can't expose themselves to the rain, so they would come to a monastery. But they would have to go out every day to get food, and that was a problem because sometimes they would trample over the fields of the people, and the farmers did not like these guys walking over their fields because it would destroy their rice crops and their other crops. So they decided, okay, we'll all congregate, we'll have a retreat for 3 months. June, July, August, something like that. Those 3 months, they would have a retreat and they would all be in one place. And that would be called the retreat of Kathina. Kathina. And at the end of that, they would have a Kathina celebration, which is the end of the monsoons. 1 day celebration, they would have a lot of festivities and things like that. So that was Kathina celebration. But this is the Kathina retreat. So the retreat now in India, either because of climate change or what, who knows, monsoons are starting 2 or 3 weeks earlier, right in May. So we are going to do what the Buddhist monks did 2,600 years ago. That is, they would just sit down in one place, and that's where they would do chanting. Now, some Buddhists, it's very interesting that there are lots of different Buddhist theories and Buddhist activities. They have different rules too. Some of them, they don't like any music. No music at all, no bowls, no singing. Some of them, like the Christian monasteries, that there are not many left anymore, but they would do humming and singing of Latin prayers. Oh, Amen, Hallelujah, all these sort of things, but it would sound very nice and it would be good for their health. And sometimes if they stopped those chanting, even in the Western Christian monasteries, a lot of them would get sick. So they continued chanting. Chanting was a very good thing. And so in some monasteries they would chant, in other monasteries they would not. Now how this happened is how you may ask the question, why is it not consistent across all of Buddhism? And the reason is Buddha would go to one place and someone would complain that some person did some dancing. And they brought a woman to dance, and they brought another man to dance, and they did very ugly, sexual positions and poses and things like that. And it upset someone. So at one place, the Buddha said, no dancing. What he meant was no sexual, unwholesome type of dancing. But people took that to be a blanket rule, and they said, okay, fine, we're not going to allow any dancing at all. Other places they continued dancing, but they modified it. They controlled whom they invited. They didn't invite any stray woman or stray man from the streets to come and do ugly dancing. And sometimes they would have singing and nice melodious chanting. So in Sri Lanka, where I learned most of my Buddhism, because it doesn't exist in India, we have Sri Lankan monks here in America. Most of them are from Sri Lanka. A few of them are from Tibet. They came because of the Chinese came and, attacked them. So a few are from Tibet, but mostly from Sri Lanka. They do chanting. They don't do bowls. The bowls come from Nepal and from Tibet. So these are what I mean by bowls. These come from Tibet. They come from North India, from Nepal, and so I've got a mix of both of those. Recently, I attended a lecture. It was the most amazing lecture because it was a guy named Donald, not Trump, Donald Lopez. He must be about 60 years old today, 60, 65. He is the world's best known authority on Buddhism. He knows more about Buddhism than any Indian, Sri Lankan, Tibetan, you name it, Burmese. A lot of these people in these places, they only know very limited knowledge. This guy, he grew up in America and he went to college and studied religion. Then he decided to learn Buddhism. He liked it. Then he studied Pali. That's the originally pre-Sanskrit language, the language that was taught, used by the common man. The richer folks or the Hindu Brahmins would talk in Sanskrit, but the common folk spoke in Pali, and Pali later on became Hindi. They spoke in Pali. So he studied Pali, he studied Sanskrit, he studied Tibetan. He's a Tibetan scholar, so he knows a lot. He read all of the thousands of suttas. They say the Buddha had about over 80,000 suttas. Now some of these suttas are just 4 or 5 lines, some of them are long. The long ones are the 4 foundations of mindfulness. That is a very important sutta. Most of the suttas are small, 2 or 3 lines. Don't do this, do that. So he studied all of those suttas, and they are in photo. It's like the Bible. It's more ancient than the Bible. And the big difference at that time, 2,600 years ago, there were probably just 3 religions or 4 religions. So Hinduism was not considered a religion at that time. It was more practice. Even Buddhism was not like a religion, it was a practice, but it was a practice of doing certain type of things. And the only 2 others that were existing at that time was Zoroastrianism and Judaism. And both of those religions, they were very fierce. They would do human sacrifice. They kill not only an animal and offer it to God, sometimes they kill their own babies, their firstborn, and all these crazy things. And going to war and killing was totally accepted at that time in those other religions. But in Buddhism, the notion of loving kindness, metta, love and forgiveness came up through Buddha. And they say that Jesus, after he went to the temple at the age of 12, after that he came to India and returned at the age of 30. He came and studied Buddhism. He studied what Buddha taught, which is loving kindness. The main teaching, several teachings, but the main thing is love and forgive. 2 things that is in Buddhism. He brought that into Christianity. That's why it's so strong in the Christian religion, love and forgiveness and charity. Anyway, so Donald Lopez, he did a lot of research, and he said, yeah, in the olden times, they used to sing, they used to chant, they used to have bowls, and he found another sutta, another lecture that Buddha gave to a guy named Sariputta. Putta means child. So Sariputta is the child of Sari. Sariputta had a good sense of humor. He would make people laugh. Most people think Buddhism is very serious. You got to just cry or you just meditate and just be very serious. He says that you don't have to be that. You can be happy, you can smile, you can laugh, you can joke. Don't hurt people's feelings, but say something funny. So Buddha himself praised this guy Sariputta for his sense of humor. Just be happy, say something funny that makes people laugh. So that is one thing I just found out, this thing about humor. Now going back to sound and music, see what happens with sound. Our body has cells, trillions of cells. We have little organs, organelles, we have bones, we have different parts of the body, we have the heart, we have the lungs. Each of these organs or parts of the body, they may not be called organs, they may be called other things, they all vibrate. Everything in this universe is vibration. And the whole, they say, in the beginning, before there was anything else, before the Big Bang, there was sound, just vibration, like the Om, Om. That sound existed. Then there was a Big Bang and the universe got created. And everything has a vibration frequency. Now the interesting thing about the vibration frequency is if you have two bowls like this, like a tuning fork. You have a tuning fork and you what? Make it vibrate, and you have another fork and you make it vibrate. Sooner or later, they'll both vibrate at the same frequency. Even if this started with one and this another, one of them will follow the other. It'll stop its own and follow the other. That's called entrainment. Train is like training somebody to do something, and training means following. So the advantage of sound healing is all our body is full of frequencies. Something is wrong, so maybe with the nasal passage, its frequency is not correct. When you give it sound treatment, the right frequency will vibrate in the nostrils and the wrong frequency will settle down and the body will come to harmony. So that is one way of healing through vibration, bringing the different parts of the body, whether it's eyes, the nose, the heart, bringing it to a normal frequency. And that's called entrainment. So that's, you can get treatment with massage, you can treatment with pills, you can treatment with medicines, you can get treatment with operations, different treatment modalities, different treatment ways, Ayurvedic, allopathic, all these are different ways. Sound healing is another way. Bringing there's disharmony, there's sickness, illness, because the frequency of that part of the body is not right. So giving it sound treatment makes it come back to its proper harmony. That's called sound healing. So now that we talked about it, I think I've covered most of the things I wanted to cover. So let's just do some sound healing practice. Is that okay? So if you want to, you can close your eyes, keep your eyes open, and just listen to these sounds. And in between, I will play the flute. I'm going to play a different song. I used to play Amazing Grace. I learned a new one called When the Saints Go Marching In. It's got a little more beat than the other one. So it'll be a little more, upbeat. But right now, if you want to close your eyes and just listen to these sounds and feel the waves, the sound going through your body and bringing healing. Do any breathing practice you want, slow breathing, fast breathing, counting 4, counting 6, whichever breathing technique you like, you feel happy about doing, that's fine. There are 4 bowls here. They cover the 4 of the 7 chakras in our body. So they go in there and give the chakra some energy. This is a drum that could resemble your heartbeat. Continue your slow breathing, slow inhalation, and a long exhalation. At the end of your nose exhalation, you can breathe out through your mouth because some air still stays in the cheeks. Breathe out there just to make sure everything goes out. And then you can take a longer inhalation so you get a lot of in breath. But all breathing practices are good. Lots of different vibrations, lots of different range of vibrations from 16 cycles per second to 16,000 cycles. That's the range of frequencies we have in our body. Of course, our heart goes like about 50 to 60 cycles per minute, but the cells and the other little organs and the skins and the bones, they have higher frequencies. So these sounds will go and bring those frequencies into harmony. So feel these sounds going through your body and have some happy thoughts in your mind too at the same time as you keep breathing in slowly, breathing out slowly. These sounds go in through the ears, but they also go in through the skin. The skin has receptors and it takes the vibrations to the nerves, and that's what is known as the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is a traveling nerve. It goes all over the body, and it takes us messages and returns the messages. It takes the messages and sends it to the brain, and the brain distributes it and brings peace to your body.